Good morning. Here we are at Wednesday morning, and our text for today is from Matthew 21. Jesus is in Jerusalem. In the morning, as he was returning to the city, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree by the wayside, he went to it and found nothing on it but leaves only. And he said to it, "May no fruit ever come from you again." And the fig tree withered at once. When the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, "How did the fig tree wither at once?" And Jesus answered them, "Truly I say to you, if you have faith and never doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, 'Be taken up and cast into the sea,' it will be done. And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive, if you have faith." Well, this is a difficult passage. On the surface level, it just appears that Jesus is having an extra bad morning and takes it out on a poor innocent fig tree that happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But he's in Jerusalem. He's already been to the temple and cleansed the temple. When Jesus says at the end of this, "If you say to this mountain, 'Be taken up and cast into the sea,' it will be done," he is speaking particularly about the mountain upon which the Jerusalem temple is built. And the temple indeed will be destroyed, not by the prayers of the disciples, but by the Romans 40 years after this. The fig tree often in the Old Testament symbolizes the people of Israel. And the people of Israel were ready for God to do something wonderful. They've been waiting ever so long and waiting in dire circumstances for God to do something wonderful. And the people of God ought to be prepared when God finally arrives to do something wonderful. That is, they ought to be in a position to bear fruit. So Jesus comes as God incarnate, as the God who has promised that he himself will come to Jerusalem and he will deal with the injustices directed against his people, but he will also bring his people to a new reality as his covenant people, his holy nation, and his kingdom of priests. So here is the day of their visitation. Here is God himself in the person of Jesus coming along. And if there was any time ever that the fig tree had fruit and was ready to bear that fruit in celebration and in encouragement of what God is now doing, it is that day. The fact that the fig tree, aka Israel, is out of sync with God's plan, is not ready to be a part of God's plan, is wrong-footed, and is pursuing a different agenda altogether, will bode very poorly for the people of Jerusalem. It will bode very poorly for the Christ, who within a week of this will be crucified. And it bodes very badly for the fig tree to be out of sync with what God is doing. Much of what we do as church, looking at our mission, is to figure out what God wants to have done next and then put our shoulders to the wheel and do it. That was the failure of Israel when Jesus visited, of Jerusalem, and that was the failure of the fig tree as well. Have a great day. God bless.